He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer.
Look at him go!
He simply runs out of his shoe. He's running so fast.
And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. One more time in case I was talking too fast. 937-457-9464 is the number to call with your comments, questions, concerns about what's going on in the world and what's going on in the sports world in particular, and your favorite team, your favorite subject. I'm available. And you can also hit me on Twitter and let your fingers do the walking. That's an old Yellow Pages commercial. People, some younger, I know some Gen Xers, they're like, what is he talking about, the Yellow Pages? What is the Yellow Page? What is the White Page? What are these pages he's talking about? But you can hit me on Twitter at KAB41 and just type with your thumbs or your fingers. Or like my wife, she's different. She does it with her forefinger and her middle finger sometimes. She hardly ever uses a thumb when she sends a text. I'm just like, okay, she has her method, and I just won't bother. And that's what she does. I still love her. Love her even more, but everybody has their own style. Nevertheless, so what's going on? We're still in the midst of the coronavirus. We are doing better. We're getting better. We haven't arrived. You know, don't be trying to spike the ball at the 5-yard line, people. Do what you have to do. Get your shots. Get vaccinated, keep your social distance, wear your mask. Yes, this is not an anti-mask show. This is a mask show. Wear your mask. Do all those things, because when it comes back to football season, which is, believe it or not, is right around the corner. I know we just had the draft last week, and it's like, well, the football season will be here soon. But I want to be back into a full stadium, cheering on the Buckeyes or the Eagles, or the Browns, or the Bengals. I forget you guys. Your favorite NFL team, your favorite college team. We would like to see that get back, but that would only be possible if we take care of one another. So let's do that. Black lives do matter. It's not a slogan, and it's now, not later. It's a movement, and we have got to get rid of this systematic racism in all areas of life, not just in the sports world. Not just in the workaday world, but in your social world, people you come in contact socially, every facet, so that we can truly, get along with one another. And I believe overall we do, but, it's those few bad apples that spoil a whole bunch. So let's continue to share love, spread love, and let's just be fair. Let's just be fair with one another. So I have a few things on my notepads today to talk about with you. And, the main subject today is going to be, since it's going to be about Ohio State athletics. When I say athletics, I really mean football and basketball. Of course, and congratulations, shout out to the women's tennis team, Big Ten champions, and their events and in the tournament. Didn't want to overlook that. But, during the football season, everybody, it's a grind. It's such a, tense atmosphere. We're week to week. Okay, we won this week. Who we got this Saturday? Okay, then, so it's where we ranked at. Are we ranked high enough, or is it too low? All that. And then football season ends, and then we turn the page to the basketball season. How's the basketball team doing? Are we going to win the Big Ten? Are we going to make the tournament? Are we going to be Sweet 16? Are we Final Four? It's all that. It's a lot of pressure, but that's what you sign up for. You sign up for those pressure jobs, when your name is Ryan Day and Chris Holtzman. That's what you signed up for. So today, here it is, middle of May almost, early May 10th. Oh, before I forget, happy belated shout out to all you mothers, around the country, in my listening audience, and, surrogate mothers too. Just because you didn't birth a child doesn't make you not a mother. And just because you have birthed a child don't make you to be the best mother. So I'm shouting out to all the positive mothers, in the world, because the children do need you. And do need you. So that is, yesterday, I celebrated and my wife with Mother's Day. My mother, she's in heaven now. She went away 3 years ago, but she's still with me every day, of my life. So I celebrated her also, and I said I had 50 plus, 55, 54 plus, 54 Mother's Days with my mother. And they were all special. And, and it was just, just to see her smile on Mother's Day, made my day. So she wasn't here yesterday, but I know she was smiling from above. And that helped me get through yesterday. Yes, indeed. So shout out to all of the mothers of the world. And don't forget us in a few weeks, probably about 5 weeks, when it's Father's Day. Let's fill up some of these restaurants with your reservations and take care of the fathers. But right now, it's all about the mothers. And as I said yesterday, I was traveling. Me and my wife was traveling. We was coming back from out of town. We was in Atlantic City over the weekend. And I didn't even try to get into the hustle and the bustle of the restaurants. I made it at home. I said, honey, what do you want? So she loves Alaskan king crab legs. Her wish was my command. And so I fulfilled it. So we had crab legs, Alaskan king crab legs for dinner. I grilled them on the grill. I could still taste them. So that was yesterday. Okay, let's get back to the subject at hand. I'm getting hungry thinking about that. Oh, by the way, so I'm taking today to just sit back and analyze, what kind of job, what do you think the job that Ryan Day is doing for the football team at Ohio State? And what do you think of the job that Chris Holtzman is doing at Ohio State? Let me repeat that. The question of the day, what do you think of the job that Ryan Day is doing for the football team at Ohio State and Chris Holtzman is doing for the basketball team at Ohio State? The reason why I asked that question here in May is because, like I said, there's no football game this Saturday. Or last Saturday. So this is the closest to relaxation that both coaches get. I mean, recruiting season is over with. The NFL draft is over with. I mean, even though Ryan Day doesn't have a whole lot to do with that from the standpoint of picking guys who's going to be chosen, they're looking at him. He's taking questions all day long about certain draft picks and, free agents. What do you think, coach? We signed this guy. So he was still on task. So now he can take a deep breath. Spring football is over with. Chris Holtzman doesn't have to worry about the NCAA tournament. Ohio State's been out of that. That's over with. That's all in the past. So this time of the year is the closest the coaches have to being able to take a deep breath. There's no recruiting and just unwind. And now I ask you as the fan, what do you think of the job they're doing? Because I'm asking now, you have no emotions involved. If I ask you, how's Ohio State doing after the Michigan game, and that's usually a win. Oh, man, Chris Holtzman is doing, Ryan Day is doing an awesome job. Best coach ever. That's how emotionalized. Then you ask him after a loss, a tough loss in the national championship game in Alabama. Well, he could have done better. Saban, same goes with Chris Holtzman. Have a big game in the regular season. Okay, can he do it in the tournament? And we go from there. We don't want to talk about a tournament this year. But my evaluation of those guys, who do I start with first? Before I even go into that, I have another question. It's a football question. We saw Ohio State spring football game a couple weeks ago. So who do you think would be the breakout freshman at Ohio State this year on the football team? Who you think would be the breakout freshman? Right now, I have two guys that stand out, with limited what we saw in practice on the offensive side of the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think he may be the freshman breakout on the offensive side of the football field. That could change if Cal McCord wins the quarterback job. I don't know who's going to win the quarterback job, but that, it would come down between those two offensively. Maybe Emeka. How you say his name, Justin? Emeka Ibuka, the wide receiver. Okay, Emeka, the number one recruit at wide receiver. Maybe one of those three guys would be the offensive breakout star. Defensively, I don't know. Jack. What's his name? Jack Sawyer. Defensive end, they're saying he's Jack Sawyer. They're saying he could be the heir apparent to the Bozas, to both Boza brothers, the Chase Young, and now him. We'll see. We will see. I would love that to be the case. We've been spoiled watching Ohio State football. Last year was the exception, but probably the last 7 years prior to last year, everybody in the defensive end coming off that Ian, is Nick Boza, it's Joey Boza, Nick Boza, Chase Young. We just got kind of spoiled. So who's going to be that defensive end? Will it be a freshman? Will it be one of the upperclassmen? That would be that. Make the quarterback on Friday nights be real nervous about who he's going to face on Saturday afternoon, which Buckeye defender is going to make him shake in his boots a little bit. But going back to my original question, what kind of job is Ryan Day doing? Right now, I'm gonna answer Chris Holtzman probably after the break, but I'm gonna start with Ryan Day. Ryan Day is doing a tremendous job. If he's in my class and I have to give him a grade, he's going to get an A. He deserves an A. I mean, he's been here 2 years. He's made the playoffs 2 years. His first year, lost in the semifinal game. He was one of the Final Four teams, lost to Clemson in the semifinal. The second year, he loses to Alabama in the championship game. He won a game, won the semifinal, got revenge against Clemson, from the previous year's defeat, and made up for it this year. Now, he's trending toward which way? This is year 3 of the Ryan Day era, and man, I would love for it to be. First year, he was in the semifinal. Second year, he was in the championship game and lost. Third year, they won it all. That would be a great, great story. I mean, and, Ryan Day, who right now, I think it's safe to say, easily he's one of the top 10 coaches in college football. But if he goes and win that national championship, after the 21 season, he will be vaulted quickly into the top 5, possibly the top 3 coaches in college football. He's already got the number 1 job in college football, in my opinion. That's Ohio State job. That's the best job in college football. You can get what you want. And the closest thing to Ohio State football job is probably, People think, I know y'all saying, Keith, say Alabama. I'm not going to say Alabama. Texas. I'm talking about having what you want. Everything is right there in Ohio. Everything's not in Alabama. Alabama is a very attractive job. I wouldn't want it. Who wants to live in Tuscaloosa? I mean, gee whiz, as opposed to Columbus, Ohio. And that's why I have Texas number 2. Austin, Texas is a whole lot better place to live than Tuscaloosa, Alabama. You're in Austin, Texas, and you're the right guy for that job. You can get almost anything. You can get anything you want right there in the state of Texas and don't have to leave. So it's a great job to have. But Ryan Day, I mean, you always judge coaches. One of the main things is how you win and how you lose. Your 1-loss record that's a weighted. I mean, that has a whole lot to do with what kind of job you're doing. It's not the end all to be all, of course, but John Cooper had a tremendous 1-loss record at Ohio State. His losses was just to the wrong teams, at the wrong time. But you can't knock his success that he had, and he ended up being voted into the College Football Hall of Fame. And Ohio State is really spoiled, and that's a good thing to be spoiled that way. All of our coaches at Ohio State since Woody Hayes have been in the Hall of Fame. Woody Hayes, a Hall of Fame coach. Earl Bruce, a Hall of Fame coach. John Cooper, Hall of Fame coach. Jim Tressel, Hall of Fame coach. Urban Meyer, soon to be in the Hall of Fame coach. Just a matter of time. And now Ryan Day, he's got some big shoes to fill. But he is doing that, not just is he winning at Ohio State. What does he have? 3 losses in 2 years? Is that right? 2 losses in 2 years, not 3. 2 losses in 3 years. in 2 years. So 1 loss at a time, 2 undefeated regular season and Big Ten championships. So he's got 2 Big Ten titles. He's just a tremendous guy. He's the right guy, for the job. And he's in the midst of separating himself from Urban Meyer instead of, man, this is all you gotta do is just drive the boat that Urban has set up for you. It's easy. Well, it's not easy. It's just like the duck going across the pond. He looks like he's not working, but you look up under the water, his feet are moving a mile a minute. It's a lot going on. So Ryan Day is doing a tremendous job. He's getting an A in academic grading scales, not A, B, C, D, F. He's getting an A. He deserves an A. He's recruited well. He's bringing high quality, players into the university. The graduation rate at Ohio State is tremendous. So whenever they have an issue, and no place is perfect. You're going to have issues with 18 to 22, 23-year-old, kids in any environment. He's doing a tremendous job of managing them. He's pushing them when they need to be pushed. He's pulling the reins back when they needed to, ease up. The players like him. And it's just the whole campus, the culture. He is the right guy for the right, for the job right now, and it's his job for as long as he wants it. And Ryan Day is a young guy. I don't see Ohio State looking for a new head coach for at least, I'll be nice and say 15 years, but I was going to say 20 at the earliest. So that's his job to retire from right now. What he's doing, and I think he's built to last. Ohio State is not a job, a moving on job, not a stepping stone job. This is the job you want. This is the job you cringe for. I don't want to be a coach, but if I did want to be a coach, and especially on a collegiate level, I would want to be the coach at Ohio State University. I don't care if I won national championships at other colleges. My dream job would be the job at Ohio State. Look at Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer won national championship at Florida. He won 2 of them. Had success at Utah. But even after winning a national championship in Florida, his dream job, man, I would love to be a Ohio State head coaching job. And he's a University of Florida legend. He won 2 national championships there, but it's not the same as Ohio State. So Ryan Day, kudos, good on you. You are doing a tremendous, tremendous job. With that, with the opportunity that has been presented to you, because it's not easy. There's a lot of pressure on him, but that's what you signed up for. That's exactly what he signed up for, and he is living it up to it. So, I just want to take the time to breathe, give people their flowers when they can smell them and they can appreciate it, because he makes one bad decision in the fall, he's going to hear about it a long time. He's going to hear about it a long time. That's just part and parcel of what comes with the job. And, I don't have a lot of criticism, for Ryan Day. Only criticism I have, well, I have some, but it's, and that's more of a strategy. I'm still, going back to the first Clemson game, in 2019. With a 2020 bowl game, and at the Fiesta Bowl, why are you trying to block a punt? Why you got the momentum? You don't need to block a punt. You want to keep Trevor Lawrence off the field as much as you can. And they roughed the punter, and that led to points. Are you nitpicking, Keith? Possibly, but that's all a part of it. That's what you do this time of the year. You look at the whole picture, and you take your emotions out of it. Even with that said, he still got an A on my list. Chris Holtzman, you're up next. We will talk about that on the other side of the break. And the phone number to call is 937-457-9464. It's lunchtime. You still got time to pull over to Lee's and get you something to eat. And while you listen to the show, you listen to the Keith Byars radio show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Come on, one more rep. You got this. 10. There it is. Nice work, man. You're a beast.
Thanks, man. I feel better than I have in years. And I got to tell you, taking Nugenix makes a huge difference for me.
Nugenix? That's the testosterone booster with TV ads with Frank Thomas. The big hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is Testofen, which helps boost free testosterone levels and increase lean muscle mass.
Well, it's clearly working for you. Hey, are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try for themselves?
Yeah, Nugenix is a great way to increase lean muscle and feel stronger with more energy and endurance.
Man, I need to get a complimentary bottle of Nugenix.
No problem. You just got to send them a text. Text ENERGY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help get you back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ENERGY to 321-321. That's ENERGY to 321-321.
Elevate your curb appeal and protect your home with Atlas Roofing from Menards. Built with beauty and durability in mind, Atlas Shingles will add great value to your home while protecting it from the harshest elements for years to come. Right now, save 11% on all Atlas Shingles. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through May 15th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
We're all ready for spring. Now's the time to get ready for spring projects with help from the Home Depot. Install a brand new faucet, lay down fresh new flooring, roll on a bright new coat of paint. Need to figure square footage or paint coverage? Our project calculators will do the math. Do it all from our app and get delivery right to your door. Download our mobile app to get started. Bring on spring with innovative help from the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
O'Reilly.
Ready for an oil change? Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts recommend all the best products to get the job done right. Like 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil on sale now, just $28.95. And we'll make sure you have all the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pan, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
DQ presents. Picture this. Picture the new DQ Summer Blizzard treat menu with iconic flavors that taste like instant summer. You order the one and only drumstick blizzard with peanuts. Oh, wow. Crunchy waffle cone pieces, world-famous DQ soft serve, and blue sky bliss. Or maybe you get the brownie batter blizzard. Ooh, wee. Fudgy brownie goodness. You're feeling breezy and dreamy all over. Moments like these are why the new DQ Summer Blizzard treat menu exists. Get it delivered at DQ.com. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Goodyear knows the importance of keeping momentum as you head down the stretch. Momentum starts with movement. It's pulled from the air like a contested rebound. Momentum builds with steals and fast breaks, and is proven by deep threes as the shot clock expires. Momentum is how we change the game, and now it's time to discover where it can take us. Goodyear, more driven.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs.
On winning teams, every player brings their unique strength and has an impact on the results. For the Showtime Los Angeles Lakers of the 80s, one of those players was Michael Cooper. He was one of only 3 players to play on all 5 of their championships. Alongside Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Cooper was the Defensive Player of the Year in 1987 and made the All-Defensive Team for 8 straight years. A vital role for the Showtime Lakers.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
Just like in basketball, adding talent to your team right now gets you even. But adding the right talent right now, that gets you an edge. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the best candidates with the experience, skills, and motivation you need. Post a job in minutes with your must-have criteria, and LinkedIn Jobs will match you to the most qualified people across their network of 740 million professionals. You could have your star players in place this summer. Post your first job for free at linkedin.com/sports. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Run with us on a John Deere Z365 RZ track mower, built for taking it easy. We're talking lemonade on a lazy afternoon easy. That's why we added the Easy Change 30-second oil change system. to make the job nice and simple. And with the convenience of standard mulch control, you'll control your clippings without any extra effort. So you can get back to the good stuff, because lawns aren't just for mowing, they're for living. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Z300 for more.
This is Keith Byars, and I played in the National Football League for 13 years. As a proud Daytonian, I've got an important message for you guys out there, especially you gentlemen over 40 years old. Know your stats. As a professional athlete, I focused on my numbers every day. Now I focus on my most important stats: blood pressure, sugar, cholesterol, and PSA levels. In the end, those are the numbers that really count. So if you don't know your numbers, now is the time to find out. See your doctor regularly to stay on top of your game, because no matter your age, every day and every number counts.
This message is brought to you by Molina Healthcare and Community Health Centers of Greater Dayton. If you do not have a primary health provider, call Community Health Centers of Greater Dayton at 937-461-6869 or visit communityhealthdayton.org.
There's been a lot of talk about the chicken sandwich wars lately, but only Lee's Chicken Sandwich is made famous. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, homestyle happens here with our chicken sandwich combo for only $5.99. You'll get a fresh, never frozen chicken breast in your choice of famous recipe or spicy, topped with chipotle ranch and pickles on a brioche bun, all served with a regular side and drink. Get a taste of fame with our chicken sandwich combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Do you hear My Computer Career ads and think, I don't know anything about computers? Well, you don't have to. Before starting, many graduates could turn a computer on and off, and that's it. And now they're IT pros. You could do it too. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. You could start your new life in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's My Computer Career.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hustler Turf commercial mowers are built tough to work hard. Whether you need a fleet of mowers or are a one-man show, you don't have time for downtime. Hustler mowers are over-engineered, overbuilt, and tested well beyond what is required with the most complete lineup in the industry, including exclusives like a 104-inch Super 104, an 88-inch stand-on, and industry-leading warranties. Hustler mowers are ready to handle what you throw at them. Build your fleet to be reliable and versatile with Hustler Turf. Visit Small Engine Service Pros in New Carlisle today.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. You listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Well, I can sit there and listen to the Ohio State band go on and on and on. It just gets me chills and, the good kind of goosebumps. I think I'm about to break the huddle and score me a touchdown in Ohio Stadium. It just feels good. Yeah. Okay, but don't let that feeling get you in trouble, Keith. And you go out there and pull a hammy and a whole bunch of other things, thinking you're 2018 again or 19. But it's a good. Well, before the break, I was talking about the job that the coaches at Ohio State are doing, the basketball coach and the football coach. So I talked about the football coach first, Ryan Day. I think Ryan Day is doing a tremendous job. And I think anything that you would want out of your first year, second year head football coach, you would be pleased with outside of winning a national championship. Everybody wants to win a national championship. Yeah, but it's only one coach in one school a year is going to do that. Last year, Ohio State was in the championship game. They came up short. They lost to Alabama, but that doesn't mean Ryan Day is not the guy. Ryan Day is the guy. He deserves a grade that I gave him. Solid A. I mean, of course, A is an A. No, I'm not going with the A++. It's just the A. He's an A and doing a great job. So now the other job at Ohio State that has a lot of pressure on it is the head basketball coach at Ohio State. Chris Holtzman, he knew what he was getting into. The Big Ten conferences, year in and year out, if it's not the strongest in college basketball, it's second, no worse than third. So you're coming into, a tough conference. Just, the football conference, of course, everybody knows, about Big Ten football, but Big Ten basketball, I think sometimes it gets overlooked by the national pundits because so many, Division I conferences and basketball teams out there. The Buckeyes and the Big Ten in general gets overlooked about how strong and how solid the conference is. This year, the conference had, 12 teams in the NCAA tournament, and a lot of them got took out the first round, but they were there. And it was all deservedly there. And if you're going to give it down to that team up north to try to make the conference look big, they're going to let you down every time, and they didn't disappoint. Michigan. But that's a different story. But Chris Holtzman, what is my grade for him? I gave Ryan Day an A. Chris Holtzman been here same amount of time, 2 years, going on 3. And I think he's done a tremendous job. And, he didn't get this time 2 years ago, he wasn't even a head coach. Who hires a head coach in June? Well, I guess Ohio State does. That's when they hired Chris Holtzman. So they hired him in June 2019. And, I think he's done a tremendous job in the time he's been here. So what is his grade, Keith? What is his grade? Well, I'm giving him a solid B. Not the highest of B, but still it's a B. I gave him an 84. He's a B. And I think he's done that. I'm not going to say he was better than Thad Matter just yet, because Thad Matter was here much longer than Chris Holtzman. So it's not fair to compare the two at this juncture. But my expectation, you may have heard me say it on the show before, but bears the repeating. The head basketball coach at Ohio State, whomever it is, you are under the spotlight for a good 6, no more than 10 weeks a year. You don't put you up on the spotlight till Ohio State bowl game is over with. Hopefully that's sometime in January. And so then our attention takes a deep breather after the football season. Then we take about a week, 2 weeks off, and then we get locked and loaded on Ohio State basketball. And at that point, it's the middle of January and on to the Big Ten season, the February, and then March Madness starts. And then there's somebody outside my window working their lawn equipment, and they are blowing that. Hope you guys can't hear it. I can. Hope it's not coming through in the microphone. But that happens. We're getting some landscaping work done outside the studio. With that being said, that's when all the, Chris Holtzman is, the big man on campus at Ohio State. Everybody's watching Ohio State basketball, those Thursday night games against the Big Ten opponents, those Sunday afternoon games on, network television. All that's important. And so you're like, man, I knew the basketball team's going to be good. You see what they beat this year, and we got this guy and that other guy. And, so it's a buzz going on. And he has the spotlight all to himself. But my expectation for Ohio State Ohio State basketball coach is this. In a 5-year period, you should be the best team in Ohio for no less than 3 times in that 5-year period. You got to be the best basketball team in Ohio. Ohio has great college basketball programs here. They don't have any competition in football, but in basketball they do. There's University of Cincinnati. There's Xavier. There's all the MAC schools. There's University of Dayton. People, hey, don't forget Dayton. And there's Wright State. Don't forget Wright. So we have a whole kind of good basketball, Division I basketball teams here in the state. And all I ask Chris Holtzman in Ohio State basketball, be the best team 3 out of 5 years. I really ought to say 4, but 3 out of 5 years, you got to be the number 1 team in Ohio. That being said, so first you got to be the best team in Ohio. Now you got the Big Ten Conference. The Big Ten Conference is a tough conference. We know that. But you have all the facilities. You got all the finances, all the backing that you would want, to have this job. Is it asking too much to win the Big Ten? 1 out of 5 years? Because to win the Big Ten, I really should say 2, but I'm being real nice today. It's the day after Mother's Day. Once in the 5-year period, Ohio State ought to be Big Ten champions. That means you either won the regular season as well as the conference tournament, but really the conference tournament determines who the Big Ten champion is. Win the Big Ten championship, the conference tournament, at least once every 5 years. I understand upsets do happen, but it shouldn't it didn't happen for Illinois this year, and they won the conference. So Ohio State win the conference championship. That's the part of, the pressure that Chris Holtzman is under. So the first thing I said, be the best team in Ohio, more than at least once every 5 years. And that number, should be higher. No, I didn't. Every 3 years. 3 out of 5 years, Ohio State has to be the best team in basketball. You got to win the conference once every 5 years. But you're competitive every year, but only one team can win it. Ohio State had a chance this year. They came up a little short, in the Big Ten championship game. What's the next expectation level for the head basketball coach at Ohio State? Make the NCAA tournament. So that ought to be, those 3 things ought to be given. Make the NCAA tournament. Win the Big Ten at least once every 5 years. Be the best team in Ohio 3 times in a 5-year period. What's the next expectation level, Key? Well, you're Ohio State basketball. You ought to be in Sweet 16s much more regular than you're not. With that being said, I need us in the Sweet 16 2, no less than 2 in a 5-year period. We ought to be in Sweet 16s on the regular 2 to 3 times every 5 years. In any 5-year period, Ohio State was in the Sweet 16 3 times. You get where I'm going, folks? Sweet 16 every 3 to 5 years. 3 times in a 5-year period. Win the Big Ten championship once in a 5-year period. Be the best team in Ohio 3 times in a 5-year period. Any other expectations, Keith? Yeah. I need us to go to the Final Four. How often, Keith? I need to go to Final Four. I would love to say every year. Who wouldn't? But I think Ohio State basketball should be a Final Four team once every 5 years. That would be two times in a 10-year period. But every 5 years, Ohio State ought to be in the Final Four. You know, an average. Is that asking a lot? Yeah. But are we giving a lot? Yeah. Are we expecting a lot? Yeah. Yes. Is that's unfair to ask to be in a Final Four every 5 years? I'm not saying every year. I'm not saying every 2 years, every 3 years. But in a 5-year period, we ought to get there. Well, how do you offset that? Well, you get there twice in an 8-year period. Get there 3 times in a 10-year period. It's okay. You can do it. If you don't think high, you're not going to reach high goals. And when you go to Ohio State for basketball, hey, it's a lot of prestige. There's a lot of great players that have played Ohio State basketball. You know, and if I was asked them this same question, and a lot of times I have, they agree with me. They agree. They should be. And if you don't go to Ohio State, you know, to win, 15 games. You don't go to Ohio State to just be a team that play a Big Ten conference. You don't go to Ohio State to, not have any expectations. Now, on the recruiting side of that job, I didn't even say he has to win a national championship. Did you notice that? I didn't say Chris Holtzman needs to win a national championship. Who wouldn't? I would love it. But once you get to the Final Four, you got a chance. You got a chance. So I'm not even putting there's a whole lot of coaches have coached a long time without winning national championships. So I want us to win one. Don't get me wrong. I definitely want us to win one. But that's not, the end all, the be all, as far as criteria. Now, he keeps on getting to the NCAA championship game and can't win it, then maybe we'll think about that, going in a different direction. But Chris Holtzman, his goals, I'm sure, are higher than mine. Now, the other thing with, Ohio State basketball team, I'm a Ohio State basketball coach, those goals that I just laid out are only attainable when you're recruiting the right players. And you got to be, you got to do a great job recruiting. Yes, it's competitive, but you're Ohio State, you can compete. That being said, out of every year in high school basketball, we have a top 5 player in Ohio. So out of the top 5 players in Ohio that's coming out, like I said in football, when you're in Ohio, we're spoiled. You don't have to leave the state to get anything you don't want. Anything you want, it's available in the state. You need size, you need big guys, we got it. You need speed, we got it. You need shooters, you need anything you want in any sport, we have here in Ohio. So the top 5 basketball players in high school basketball, Ohio State, you should get no less than 2 should come to Ohio State. At the top 5 players, I'm not saying you got to get the number 1 guy every year, but at the top 5, Ohio State needs to get at least 2 of them. They need to recruit at least 2 out of 5. Be able to sign on a dotted line with the Ohio State University. Granted, I just said earlier, Ohio State has a lot of competition in basketball. Cincinnati, Xavier, all the MAC schools, University of Dayton, Wright State, all great basketball programs to be a part of. But Ohio State, you have to out-recruit them and get those guys to go to Columbus. So Chris Holtzman, you need to get the top 5. You get 2 of the top 5 guys in Ohio. And nationwide, we've gotten, top recruits before. We've gotten what was Greg Oden, Justin? Greg Oden was ranked as a high school recruit coming out, or D'Angelo Russell. How high was those guys ranked? They were top 5 kids in the countrywide.
I know Odin. I mean, I can't remember the national rankings, but I mean, D'Angelo Russell was one of the top prospects in the country. That was that was a huge.
I can't imagine it was being 10 players better than him.
Yeah, I mean,
so he had to be at
Greg
least
Oden and
top
Conley
10.
were that 1-2 punch. They were a package that came in together. Of course, that class with Daquan and everybody like that. That was one of the best.
Yeah, but Greg Oden was
ever.
probably top 3 overall.
Yeah.
At least without us looking it up. At least just by himself.
I mean, it was a shot when he picked Ohio State that surprised a lot because of how hard Kentucky and Duke, North Carolina, and programs like that were going after him. That's no slight to Ohio State, but that was that recruiting class, especially in the last 2 decades. That recruiting class really put Ohio State basketball back on the map as far as where it should be, and that really kind of carried Mata for the rest of his run there. And he was able to build multiple Final Four caliber teams during his stretch until his final little 3-4 year run there. So interesting, nonetheless.
For sure. So we just described there is history, tradition of Ohio State basketball. It is there. I got a good buddy lives in Florida. We argue all the time, and when I go to bringing up Ohio State players, he be like, "He went to Ohio State? Yeah, him too. And so Ohio State basketball has a rich history of great basketball players. And I don't even know where to start, but I'll just start with Jerry Lucas from Middletown, him and John Havlicek on that 1960 national championship team, coached by Fred Taylor. Ohio State basketball has always had players. Jim Clemens in the early 70s, Clark Kellogg, Kelvin Ramsey, Dennis Hobson, Jimmy Jackson. We got names, we got players, and like I said, Daquan Cook, right here from Dayton, Ohio. We have everything you want, and so this tradition that has to be, recruited on and stand up, and that's what expectation level is. So next year, when basketball season rolls around, that's what you ought to be expecting out of Chris Holtzman. Right now, he's on vacation. It's time for him to relax and unwind, and it's a pressure job. I want him to relax, but keep your eyes, keep recruiting, stay active, but enjoy yourself. You're not under pressure. You don't have no game this Saturday or this Friday or this Thursday or anything like that. So I'm pleased with the coaches that we have at Ohio State in those 2 programs, in basketball and football. I am pleased, very pleased. The assistant coaches at Ohio State for football, am I pleased? Yes. Am I satisfied? Yeah, I'm satisfied. Am I expecting more? Yes, because I need to see more out of our defensive coordinator, Kerry Coombs. You came back to Ohio State last year, and I don't think that he had his best year as a coach. He's a defense coordinator, coaches our secondary. I don't think last year was one of his banner years. Pandemic, aside. So, Kerry Coombs, I'm expecting a big comeback out of you. Just like we put pressure on players to have big comeback, and a lot of times, I don't put that pressure on the college players the same way I would a professional player. Professional players are paid. So I have expectation levels for the college player, but I don't get on the microphone and I go growling at them. But I will do that on the coaches because they are getting paid. So our defensive coaches, not coaches altogether, but Kerry Coombs, the defense coordinator, it's on you. You're going to be under the spotlight this year. We need to get that defense, that we've been accustomed to seeing at Ohio State. I need to see we need more interceptions. We need more turnovers. And so that means we got to be more aggressive. That's one thing that love them or leave them with Indiana. They said we can't line up and play Ohio State and expect to win. So we got to take chances and go out on the edge. And that's what Indiana did. Justin, we're going to blitz you from the time we got off the bus. And I admire that. So the coach said, we just can't stand up here and slug body blow with Ohio State. We're going to be knocked out in the 3rd round. We just can't do it. So our defensive coaches, you're not under pressure right now, but you got to be in some meeting room right now, drawing up different schemes and, going over your personnel because it's time we have some graduations. Jobs are available. It's time for you to step up and fill those shoes. You have to. I go back to when I was this time of the year, when I was a freshman at Ohio State. We had just graduated, a starter, who was a 1st-round pick, in the United States Football League by a running back by the name of Tim Spencer, all Big Ten running back. Who's going to replace him? Who is it going to be? Keith Byars? Is it going to be Kelvin Lindsey, John Woolridge, Barry Walker? It was a list of names. Who's going to step up and be the starting running back in the fall? And a whole bunch of us was, throwing our applications in there on the table. It's going to be me. It's going to be me. I mean, was it friendly competition? Yes, but the key word, it was competition. You know, we didn't let the competition deter any friendships. One guy who finished second for the job, a running back by the name of John Woolridge, me and him were just close as we were back then in college. But we competed hard every practice, every game. And even now, when we always get us together, he's like, Keith, I was Keith's biggest competition, because every time Keith came out the game, he knew he better not be out alone, because I'm going to take his job. He would say that to my face. and that was okay. That was okay. But there was, it's like, but we know who the starter was. So I'm thinking about the Ohio State running backs in that room right now. It's a lot of running backs in there, a lot of talent. Somebody's going to win the job. Somebody's going to be disappointed. But it's about the team first and not about you. And there will still be carries available for you. I don't run out of time, but I'd be remiss if I didn't. This time last week when I left the show, I said something about we got to re-recruit our players, because, it's going to be hard to keep all that talent in the room. So the coaches' jobs are tough as ever before. And we lost Jamison Williams, wide receiver. Oh, that hurt me bad. I can't even hardly read it when I sell it. Even that, I still don't want it to be true. But he's already transferred. He's going to be at Alabama this fall. And I have to, cheer for him individually. I have to cheer for his team. But, I mean, Jameson is a Buckeye. I feel almost the same way as when Joe Burrows left. Love Joe Burrows, but he didn't win the job. But I hated when he transferred to LSU. I still see him as a Buckeye. He went on, won the Heisman Trophy, won a national championship. I was like, oh, you should have stayed. But I'm selfish like that. So I wish Jamison Williams nothing but the best. I get it. I don't have to agree, but I get it. And and I went online, and we had lost an offensive lineman too, transferred to Colorado, Max Ray. I get it. That's where this era that we're in. But I just hope all the guys that in the room stay in the room. But you have to do what you have to do. And I guess that's a good problem to have. But it's a part of it, adjusting to a new system and a new era. And I hope this time next week I don't have to tell you about any other transfers out, maybe a couple transfers in. I know Ohio State was trying to get a linebacker from Tennessee who chose Alabama. But the linebackers that we have on roster, it's up to them. They got an opportunity. We lost all our linebackers. P. Werner went in the second round to the New Orleans Saints. Justin Hillard signed with San Francisco. Tuff Borland signed with Minnesota. That happens, guys. That happens. It's opportunity. Just like when I was, trying to win the job as a sophomore at Ohio State, running back. Yes, people heard of me, but I wasn't known on that grand scale as like, watch out for this guy. The freshman running back in the country that had the best year when I was a freshman was a running back out of Oklahoma by the name of Marcus Dupree. And Marcus Dupree had a big old Fiesta Bowl against, I can't remember who they played. I think they played Arizona State. But he had a tremendous Fiesta Bowl, ran for over 200 yards. And everybody was talking about this freshman sensation from Oklahoma. And we played Oklahoma in week 2 of my sophomore year. And going into that game, Earl Bruce was telling everybody else, I think we got the best sophomore running back in the country, if not one of the best running backs in the country. And it was like, who? And like, Keith Byars. Who, really? Who was he? I didn't have I only had 6 carries as a freshman. I didn't have a big game opening the first game of the season against Oregon. But now we're on national TV on the road at Oklahoma. And Earl Bruce said, I got the best running back. And what happened that game? Well, I didn't have a touchdown, but I had a big game. I outplayed the other running back at Oklahoma. And I had something to prove. I mean, I'd heard of Marcus Dupree when we came out of high school. I knew who I was and what I was capable of being able to do. And my teammates knew it as well, because they went up against me every day in practice. I said, y'all going to tackle Marcus Dupree. It's going to be easier than tackling me. And Marcus Dupree quit Oklahoma after that game. He didn't hardly even finish that game because them scarlet helmets, those gray helmets was flying all over the field. He had never been hit like that before. Pepper Johnson, my roommate, said, I got him. Roland Tatum. I mean, we was just putting helmets on that young man. And, of course, Ohio State won the football game. We beat them 24-14. John Frank scored two big touchdowns, and we won the game at Oklahoma. Still to this day, one of the hottest games I ever played. It was 140 degrees on the football field. Hot. But I digress. Guys, it's the end of the show. I can't wait to talk to you next week. In the meantime, get out there and do random acts of kindness for your fellow man. Wear your mask. Get vaxxed up. I'm vaxxed up. Come in and join me. Know your numbers, guys. Do what you have to do. Stay safe and sound. Wish you all the best. God bless you all. I'll talk to you next time.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ES.